Okay, I do this like every night, so I'm good at this part.
The court at break of dawn, purple gold, we step it strong. Running plays like fire sparks, every game a work of art. Staples Center lights up bright, Laker legends in the night. Crowd goes wild, the beat drops hard. We own this game, we set the bar. Lakers Digest on the rise, through ups and downs we light the skies. Big beat drop as we take flight, from the paint to the spotlight.
Following the Los Angeles Lakers making one of the biggest trades we have ever seen in acquiring Luka Doncic, we finally get to hear from the man himself this afternoon. In about approximately 5 minutes, we'll hear some details. We'll hear how he feels about the trade, how he feels about coming to LA, and all of these things. Okechi, it's a reality. Luka is a Laker, and it is crazy to even think that this is happening. But most importantly, we get to hear from the man himself any minute. We will have it on screen for you, so you'll be able to watch along with us. You'll be able to listen along with us here. But gonna happen any minute, and it's our first live, so it's gonna be pretty exciting. Welcome everybody in the chat here. But Okechi, Luka's a Laker. His return is imminent, and we get to hear from the man himself today.
I mean, this is an exciting day, probably one of those landmark days in like Laker history, as sort of like the start of the next era, really, of Lakers basketball, and what it can bring, what it can
It will
tell.
be
And
streamed here on the stream.
yeah,
We'll be able to watch. Sorry, Okechi, to interrupt you. It will be on the stream here. You will be able, as soon as it starts, it'll be on the screen. You'll be able to listen and watch with us, so you can stay here and watch it. Continue. Sorry to interrupt.
but yeah, it's very like it's a real surreal moment. Like it's just these past like 48 hours just haven't felt real.
Nope.
And it's like it's not like I'm not the only one experiencing this. It's like everybody within the league. Doesn't matter who you are, if you're like a star. I mean, I've heard what like guys like KD, Edwards have said
Yep.
and stuff like that. So like hearing their response is just they're just as shocked as well. So it's just crazy to see this come to fruition, and just I'm excited to see kind of like what not only what like Luka says, how he is he's because he's probably going to be received well when he comes to the Lakers, but just what he says, what he's looking forward to bringing here, and then also what Rob Pelinka is planning to do in the future, because I don't think they're done with moves per se. So I wonder what Rob is going to give any insight, because the trade deadline is still in a couple of days.
Yeah.
So the Lakers can make a deal here.
And we'll answer some questions as well. Again, you'll be able to watch it. Someone said, "Where can you watch it?" You can watch it right here. So as soon as it goes live, we will be able to. We'll be showing it with you as well. So you'll be able to watch it live here. Yeah, and we can answer some questions as well before it a little bit after. Everyone around the league is still shook. I mean, whether it be GMs, reporters. I mean, you see Steph Curry coming out and talking about Anthony Edwards, Giannis, all these different things, and it's kind of been a bit of a snowball effect now, because I think bigger trades are coming for the Lakers, of course, whether that be big men. They desperately need a center, and there's just a lot of moves on the horizon, and of course, we'll keep you up to date with that. But Okechi, it still feels like a dream a little bit. I think that it happened, Saturday night, and then now it's just like we're approaching a time now. I believe Saturday it is when Luka is his target return date, and we get to watch Luka play for the Lakers. And obviously, JJ Redick now has his hands full with dealing with Luka, which I'm sure he's very happy about. It is exciting, and again, you'll be able to watch it here as soon as it goes live. But it's still absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, it is. And then I'm assuming a guy like JJ Redick is actually very excited, because for one, they were teammates for a while, because JJ Redick toward the latter end of his career ended with Dallas. So he's a little bit familiar with Luka Doncic. So I'm interested to see that relationship. And then also the fact that JJ is a self-proclaimed sicko. So he's probably just the moment that trade became official, he was probably like, drawn to some things, is, running up plays, because like a guy like Luka Doncic and LeBron James on your team at the same time, there is so many offensive variations that you can do. The Lakers were a team that like struggled with on-ball shot creation. I don't think that's going to be an issue whatsoever anymore. Now, just currently as the roster stands, having LeBron
Everybody.
James, Luka Doncic, and then Austin Reaves, who was actually playing really well as the point guard for the past couple of months here. But just there's a lot of possibilities that you can
Yep.
do with this offense, and I'm pretty sure JJ Redick is going to be ecstatic as well. We'll probably see him there in the presser. Not
Speaking
answering
of
questions.
speaking of the
Yeah.
presser, there he's not officially there, but I am going to show you
Okay.
all the feed of what we have right now, which is a very ominous empty chair. So I'm going to throw it up here, and we're going to test some things here. We'll unmute the audio for it once people start flooding, once Luka comes out. But again, you'll be able to watch it here. And yeah, we can answer some questions in chat for sure as well. But again, we have the right here. We have the Luka Doncic press conference. It's real. It's happening. There's two chairs. I'm hoping one for Rob Pelinka and one for. And also, something I mentioned in here is I think we're going to hear a lot about what Rob Pelinka, maybe some new details surrounding what he's feeling about it, surrounding what's going on in that front. It's going to be interesting. And I want to ask the chat real quick, if you could pick one center that's realistic, that's available at this trade deadline, who would be the player? And I'll ask you, Okechi, as well. Who would be the
Mhm.
player that you aim for and strive for? What would be the dream realistic center target? And I'm going to exclude, actually, yeah, we can keep Miles Turner in there as well. I feel like most people would say Miles Turner, but let us know in the chat what your ideal player is.
I mean, if we're just asking straight up, I was thinking about this. I've actually been thinking about this nonstop. Been very hard to sleep, to be honest. But the ideal center, although I do like Miles Turner, I understand what he can bring to this Laker team, but I feel like I liked him more with the idea of having Anthony Davis next to him because he's not like the best rebounder. And the thing that the Lakers are struggled with, even with Anthony Davis being the best rebounder, that this team struggled getting rebounds.
Yep.
So they're gonna need a center that not only, can do Anthony Davis similar things on the defensive, but also grab rebounds. Miles Turner is not really a high rebounder. A guy who can grab rebounds at a high rate. He's averaging about like seven
Yeah,
or
it's
six
not
to
his
seven
MO at
for
all.
most of his career. So he's a shot blocker. He can shoot threes. He can catch lobs and stuff like that, which is all great. But I would prefer a center that could just gobble up some rebounds.
Yeah.
So I've um, guys that interest me is I'm more interested in a guy like Jakob Poeltl. I know he's not the most fascinating pick, but like as a serviceable big, grab rebounds for you, do the job. I think it could be nice.
Nick Claxton.
Nick Claxton, like him. I really like Nick Claxton for this because he's a big that runs. And both LeBron and Luka are guys who love to hit the hit-ahead pass, and Nick Claxton is a guy who's going to be running constantly. So he would be probably my ideal player at this point. And then I'm also thinking of even this would probably be have to include like Hachimura and that type of deal. And then if you were to trade, I think Gabe Vincent becomes more expendable now that you have Luka Doncic. So you can move Reaves to the bench, or we'll see what happens with the starting lineup there. But Vincent becomes more expendable, and I think you got to find a defender, like a point of attack defender, to sort of like replace some of the things that Max Christie does, but do it at a pretty high level and just probably a bigger wingspan. Because Gabe Vincent's a pretty solid defender, but he's 6'1". So if you can find somebody in that 6'4" to 6'6" range that can guard ones and twos, I think that'd be the ideal move for the Lakers. So those are the two things that I think that are left for
Yeah.
the Lakers. Finding that point of attack defender and then finding that run and jump big who can get rebounds and also block shots.
I'm seeing some Gafford in chat. I'm seeing Nick Claxton a lot as well. Daron Sharp, I
Mhm.
think, would be a good backup center option if they want to go for two, if they don't have faith in Jackson Hayes. Again, we'll be playing the audio once it's out. Right now, there's just kind of like background music being played. So once once
Yeah.
Luka comes out, we'll definitely play the audio. Also, if you're in here, shout out to everybody in here. Hit the like button. Let's try to get to 100 likes on the stream. Shout out to over almost 400 of you in here. So again, anything Lakers related, we will keep you up to date. Also, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Okechi, myself, Hunter, daily. I mean, more than daily at this point. Multiple videos a day and keep you up to date with every little thing. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. But going back into the point a little bit, I see a lot of people in the I saw a few people in the comment section regarding Nic Claxton saying that he, isn't big enough, wouldn't be able to guard some of the, the big guys in. I mean, I'm assuming they're talking mainly about Jokic. I mean, Joel Embiid if he's ever healthy. Clint Capella is a guy who's really cheap. Like, I think they could. It kind of depends on what avenue they're gonna go. I think they're gonna go for a pretty big not a huge splash, but something pretty big. Maybe a guy like Nic Claxton who's gonna cost a bit more. But I'd like to see them. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'd like to see them get multiple centers, like 2. I don't know if I have faith in Jackson Hayes being a backup. He can be. I'm sure he could be serviceable, but I feel pretty confident with them going for a guy like, let's say, Nic Claxton or Miles Turner, whatever you go for, and then a backup center of maybe Clint Capella or Day'Ron Sharpe, who would cost second-round picks rather than your first. I think getting both of those and a point-of-attack defender as well. I mean, we don't really have a starting 2-guard right now. I mean, Austin Reaves, I guess, would be the guy you throw out there. Some people think he's better suited as a 6-man. Some people think he's better suited to be shipped out elsewhere, which is interesting as well, because maybe his value will be a little bit diminished now that Luka's there. But I could see him benefiting off Luka as well if he can turn into a bit more of an off-ball guy, even though his passing and facilitating has taken a huge leap this year.
So yeah, I actually don't have any problems with a guy like Austin Reaves taking a back seat, because this I love how he's gotten more on ball reps and been more involved in the offense. But a guy like Austin, like, he's been a role player his entire career. Even back when he was up in college, he was mostly playing in that role player role up until his senior year. So this guy has been used to that. When he came in with the Lakers, he was a role player, so he is used to sort of being taking a back seat a little bit. So I kind of like that, because there is going to be times in games where both LeBron, Reaves, and Doncic are going to be on the court, and you're obviously going to have your best defenders on LeBron and Luka, and then that frees up a guy like Austin Reaves. So Austin Reaves has recently been guarding the best perimeter guy. You definitely can't do that when you have Luka Doncic there. So this kind of frees up Reaves to sort of be a connecting player, a guy that he's very good at catch and shoot threes. He can still do that at a high rate. And he's a pretty good finisher when he gets in the lane. He's got a nice floater. So I think Reaves could really benefit in this situation. Doesn't matter if he's starting or coming off the bench. We'll see what Redick does. But Nick, I do want to run something by you though, because I was playing 2K last night because I couldn't sleep. And I wanted just to see, just because it's just so hard to fathom LeBron and Luka on the same team. So I was thinking of, what if the Lakers went small and just try to work the best lineups there? Because I feel like some of their better players are small. Jackson Hayes, not really your starting
We have a
big
Luka
type
sighting.
of player. Oh, he's coming through?
We have
Yes,
a Luka
sir.
sighting.
Oh, let's see what Rob is always, he gets so philosophical with these. So I wonder if he's gonna throw in a Bible quote or something like that, or he's gonna do something, say something interesting.
We
But
have both of them.
yeah,
We have both of them. Here he is here. But yeah, we can definitely run over the small lineup. I think I'm gonna get ready to unmute. I'm gonna mute you for 1 second here. Okay. We are the audio is on. We're gonna listen, and then Okechi, I'll unmute you as it comes through.
Before I start talking about the young man next to me, I want to thank Jalen Hood Schifino, Max Christie, and Anthony Davis for their incredible service here. There's no player that played as big a role to our 17th championship than Anthony Davis, who's also a person of incredibly high character. So those 3 guys are Lakers for life, and just want to thank him before we start. Nope. So, in thinking about today and what it means, I think Luka Doncic joining forces with the Los Angeles Lakers is a seismic event in NBA history. And the reason I say that is because we have a 25-year-old global superstar that's going to get on the stage of the most popular and influential basketball brand on the globe. And I think when those 2 powerful forces come together, it brings basketball joy to the world.
Shout out Max
That's
Christie.
how Luka plays. He plays with joy. And if you think about kids in Barcelona or kids in Buenos Aires or children in Shanghai or Sydney, they're going to be wearing a number 77 Luka Doncic Lakers jersey and bringing joy to basketball just like he does. And that's why it's powerful. I think the leadership of Adam Silver and the way he's bringing the game to the world, you see it in Europe, you see it in Africa, what the NBA is doing. And now we have one of the game's biggest superstars, an international player coming to join the Los Angeles Lakers. It's a convergence of all those forces, and I think it's going to be something incredibly special that the NBA and basketball has never seen before. So to get to this place, there's a couple people I want to thank. First and foremost is Jeannie Buss. She's so supportive. I think her vision, which falls in line with the great and late Dr. Buss, to always make sure the brightest and best basketball superstars play for the Los Angeles Lakers. She's clearly carried that vision on from her dad, and I just want to thank her for her tremendous support and vision in helping this day become a reality. The second person I want to thank is anytime there's a trade or a transaction, there has to be a partner, and I want to thank the Dallas Mavericks, led by their GM, Nico Harrison, who was also very instrumental in bringing this opportunity to us and then staying true
Thank you, Nico.
to
Thank you.
the negotiations throughout where it could be culminated with the trade being finalized and Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris becoming members of our team. So wanted to thank those two people. And now we'll start with questions.
All right, here it is.
Hey, Luka, there's the video the Lakers put out the other day of you noticed somebody was talking to you in Slovenian during a game in 2019. It's Kobe, and you turn around, you have the moment with him after the game. And just think, how do you go from that to then now joining the Lakers with LeBron James and just thinking of the legacies of those two players and you having the chance to be the next one?
Well, first of all, I remember the exact moment that happened. It will always stay, in my mind. It was an amazing moment. Just for Kobe to know my name was amazing for me. And, I just wish Kobe and Gigi were here to see this moment. And, I'm excited about this new journey and happy to be here.
When you walked out, you saw all of us here standing here waiting for you to come. What's your reaction to seeing all of us here to welcome you to Los Angeles?
Well, first of all, it's very nice. There's a lot of people here. I don't think there's ever been so many people in my press conference. So I really appreciate all the support.
Short but
Luka,
sweet.
welcome to Los Angeles. I'm curious, what's your reaction been the last 48 hours to some of the comments coming from Dallas on your way out the door to join the Lakers?
I'm just excited, to be here to start this new journey, and obviously at some point I knew this was going to happen, but I would say I always take the high road. I had my amazing moments in Dallas with all my teammates, coaches, and most importantly the fans. They always supported me, and it was an amazing journey.
There's lag in the
Luka,
actual
Dan
feed,
Licky with
not
LA
the
Times.
not ours.
Welcome to LA. You, in a podcast with JJ years ago, said that the one NBA player that you watched was LeBron James. What is your kind of reaction to being able to now play with him, and how do you think that's going to work for the two of you guys on the court?
It's just like a dream come true, I always look up to him. There's so many things I can learn from him, and I'm just excited, just to learn everything, and now I get to play with him. So it's an amazing feeling.
Zdravo, Luka. Jovan Buha with The Athletic. Just kind of following up on that, how do you see you and LeBron specifically, just the two-man game between you? You both can screen for each other, hit guys out of the short roll, create playmaking opportunities. Just how you guys both see the game. Very few can see it that way. Like, how do you see that fit from a passing, playmaking, and just two-man game perspective?
Yeah, I think we both make our teammates better. I think our IQ is very high, so I think that's going to help everybody. But obviously, I really haven't think about basketball much these days. But I'm just excited to work with him. I work every day here, so every day that goes by is going to be better.
Luka, Kobe Price, SoCal News Group, welcome to LA. Got one for both of you guys. First for you, Luka. I think you even wrote in a social media post that you thought that Dallas is going to be a place that you're looking forward to win championships, staying for your career. Emotionally, what have the past 48 to 60 hours been for you in coming to LA?
Well, it was hard first. That first day was really hard. I felt like this last 48 hours was 1 month. Like 2 days ago was 1 month ago. So emotionally, it was really hard. But every day that like today was much better. I'm just very happy to be here for this opportunity. It's the Lakers. It's one of the best clubs in history. So I'm excited to be here.
And for Rob, Nico was speaking with reporters, I believe, on Sunday after the trade. He praised you specifically for, keeping the negotiations between you two up until, I imagine, the final moments. At what point did you, introduce this trade idea to Jeannie, and what was her initial reaction when you told her about it?
Yeah, so this all started with the coffee in Dallas where Nico approached us with the concept, and because there was a partnership and a history of travel in the world between Nico and myself working around Kobe Bryant, there was a fabric of trust in the discussions. And these type of deals are incredibly intricate and complicated. And along the way, we knew there would be 248 insurmountable snags to get to the end, and there were. And so over the course of 3 weeks, call it, an issue would come up, and we'd think there was no way to climb the mountain, and we'd figure out a way. Then the next issue would come up, and you just keep going, and you stay committed to the work. You stay committed to trying to get the deal done in a partnership sense. I think a lot of people talk about negotiations in terms of who won and who lost. I try to approach a negotiation in the sense of how do we build a partnership where we can get to the end. And I think that was the lens that we worked and the premise we worked under. And when the concept was initially introduced to us, it was, hey, the only way we can even have these discussions was if it's between owner and GMs. And there was a commitment to that. And if we broke that commitment by talking to anyone else, this day would never happen. So I think trust was at the center of all those discussions. And I called Jeannie after the coffee in Dallas and brought her in immediately, as I do with everything. Her and I have a really strong working relationship, and the fabric of that is that we share things in real time. And she was extraordinarily excited and hopeful that we could get to the end, which we were able to do.
Hey, Luka and Rob, Melissa Rowland, Fox Sports. Over here. I have a question for both of you guys. Obviously, from the league's biggest superstars to fans, people were shocked that the Mavericks were willing to deal a 25-year-old superstar in his prime who has another 10 years at least ahead of him. What was both of your guys', Rob, what was your level of shock that this was even on the table? And Luka, what was your level of shock
Good question.
that the Mavs were willing to deal you?
I try to take everything in stride. I think, it's interesting if all of us watch Luka play. He has a combination of basketball joy and killer instinct, which is really rare. That was number 8, number 24. And I think learning lessons from that mentality are to stay in the moment. And so I don't think of it in terms of shock, surprise. I think of it in, okay, this is coming at me. It's like a game. Maybe a blitz is coming at Luka. He's not going to be shocked. He's going to stay in the moment, figure out the read, and make the play. And so when the opportunity came to me, that was sort of my mindset, is to, okay, this is coming. This is a concept that came to me. Now, how do I process this mentally to get the deal completed? And right away, when it was brought up at the coffee, my mind started churning. There were so many complicated things. We have the Mavericks are hard capped at the first apron. You know, the Lakers are up against the second apron. There's trade kickers. There's going to be a third team that's going to have. So my gears were turning about the deal the same way his basketball mind is processing a play. And so I just tried to live in the moment, and I tried to carry that with me for 3 or 4 weeks as this was unfolding. And by staying in the moment, I think it helped us get to the end.
I mean, everybody was surprised, so you can imagine how surprised I was. I was almost asleep, so when I got a call, I had to check it was April 1st. I didn't really believe it at first, and it was a bit shock. It was hard moments for me. It was home, so it was really hard moments for me, especially the first day. But as I said, you know, I get to play in the greatest club in the world, and I'm excited for this new journey.
Luka, over here on your left, Malika Andrews with ESPN. It's good to see you. Welcome to LA. You've been a fan of LeBron. You've talked about it for a long time, but he's also been a fan of you. He's tried to work with you at various different times in the past, whether it be shoe deals or other things. I'm curious, what message did he reach out to you with? Was it a text? Was it a call? What was that? And how did that fuel the way that you think about coming to LA as well?
Yeah, he called me right away. He was in New York, so he called me right away. And we didn't talk much because, you know, he said, I understand what you're feeling. But that was really nice of him just to call me right away and welcome me to LA.
Hey, Luka. We've heard from so many other players across the league, Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry, Giannis, talking about their shock at this and also what it means for how teams feel about players and how no one's really safe, quote unquote, to use Steph's words. What have players said to you, and what has it meant to you to have them speak out the way they have?
I saw some comments. I wasn't really trying to be on social media these days, but I saw some comments, and it really means a lot. You know, we are rivals, and they speak about me that nicely, so it really means a lot to me, and sure. Oh, directly, I haven't talked to a lot of people, really.
Hey, Luka, Nikki K with Spectrum News right here. So emotionally, you go from thinking you're going to spend your career with one fan base, and now you arrive in a new city. First of all, impressions of Los Angeles and its fans from afar, and what does this opportunity to, have another love story with LA Gosse?
Yeah, I would say, like you said, I thought I was going to spend my whole career there. Because I think loyalty is a big word for me, and I was trying to stay by that. But this for me is a fresh start. I get to play in LA. The fans are amazing, and I got the ocean here, so it's a really big thing for me. But really, I'm really excited to be here. I getting to play for the Lakers. Now everybody can say that, and many legends passed here, many championships. So that's my goal.
Luka, Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News. So you wrote a Dear Dallas letter to fans that was, very heartfelt, and you talked a little bit about, your shock. How are your feelings toward the upper levels of the organization, Nico in particular, or the decision to trade you?
Well, I mean, that's their decision, so I have no comment on that. They made the decision. I don't know why. But that's their decision, so I can't do nothing about it.
And then one of the reasons that was given was that there was concern that, beyond this summer, or that there's a chance you might not agree to the Supermax extension. Did you or anyone on your inner circle indicate that that might be the case?
Absolutely not.
Luka, that hurts Mavericks. That hurts myself.
Do you feel you have something to prove? Do you feel you have something to prove?
Sorry.
Do you think you have something to prove?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Obviously, yeah. Yeah. That's it. Win the championship. You don't come here for nothing else than championship. So
yeah,
I have everything left to prove. So and the goal is to win the championship.
Luka, good to see you. Mark Medina with Athlon Sports and Sportskeeda. How do you address the criticism that's followed you on your way out about concerns about conditioning and durability?
It's a motive. I know it's not true. I know, but it's a motive. Like I say, I came here, one of the biggest clubs in history of sports, so it's a big motive for a long run here.
I'll just add to that one, Mark. I think greatness is an evolution in a process. And I think if you're striving for perfection, as we are as an organization or as a player, you're going to have challenges to make yourself better until you don't play anymore. And so I think that's just something to keep in mind. I would assume the question will be forthcoming. When is Luka going to play?
Yes,
I'd rather just
being Kobe's agent.
Our sports performance department is led by Dr. Leroy Sims. Luka's got trusted sports performance folks that are going to become part of our family and Dr. Sims' circle. And they're working together as we speak about a return to play plan. We have 5-on-5 scheduled tomorrow for Luka, and we're going to take it one day at a time just to make sure that the calf injury is in a good and safe place. So I would truly say at this point he's day to day. We're going to take it one step at a time. But if all those days go well and Luka feels good and confident, he'll be in a game soon. But we're going to partner with him. And I should mention, too, his amazing team who's now part of our family, led by Laura Beth and Bill Duffy and the rest of the folks that are here today. When we make decisions around superstar players, and we partner and collaborate with them, and that'll be our process with Laura Beth and Duff, who are incredible at what they do.
Jared Greenberg with TNT. Rob, you stole my question there. I was going to ask Luka, I guess more about that, just hear from you what this process has been like. You've gone through it now 4 times with this calf. So what have you done to get back on the court? How are you feeling? And how confident are you in that this won't be a reoccurring injury?
Well, for the first time, I took my time, get it to heal 100%. Other times I think I just wanted to go back on court playing basketball and not really be healthy 100%. So this time I just took my time, which was normal amount of time to get back to 100%.
Luka, David Pingalore, KTLA. Over the last couple of days, I talked about your conditioning, but maybe your lack of defense. What is your commitment to being a better defender?
Yeah, I think this year I really stepped it up honestly, and it's just being more active, more vocal, and I think I did a step ahead this year, but I need to do more steps ahead. So that's what I'm planning on.
Hey, Rob, just obviously make a blockbuster move like this. What is your balance of thinking long-term with 25-year-old and then also just the short-term, knowing that the deadline's coming up on Thursday?
Yes,
just
this is what I wanna
balancing
hear.
long-term vision with the short-term.
We know that our roster has continued work to do to become complete. And just to be clear around the vision for our roster, we're going to build a roster that fits J.J. Redick's philosophy, his basketball philosophy. That's something that we believe in, that we support, that we want to lean into. So in terms of roster decisions, J.J. and I collaborate extensively around that and fitting how he wants to play. We know we have a need for a big. The market for bigs right now, leading into the last 2 or 3 days of the trade deadline, is very dry. There's just not a lot available. So maybe we'll be able to do some stuff around the margins. I would say in terms of a big move for that position, it's probably more realistic that would be something that comes in the offseason. But Luka, as our will be at the center of that as we build for the
Interesting.
long term. We want to format a team that fits JJ's coaching style and his strengths and his needs to help us win a championship with the other people that are also on our team right now who are going to be a big part of that winning as well. But your question was about long term, so I'm speaking more to long term.
Luka, I know you had about 13 games as a teammate with JJ in Dallas, and just wondered what that was like for you, the relationship that you formed, and then your thoughts about playing for him as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he couldn't move at all, so it wasn't good.
He couldn't move at all.
No, but it was a great relationship. I really respect him. You don't see me go on podcast. I went on his podcast twice, so you know how much respect I have for him. So I'm really excited that I can play for him.
Rob, good to see you. Along the same lines with the trade deadline and all of that, the window for Luka, 25 years old, coming off a finals appearance last year. LeBron, 22nd season, 40 years old. Like, what's the urgency level to have this team in the immediate future reach championship contender status, and whether that immediate future is between now and Thursday or the offseason going into next year? Just kind of what is the view in terms of the timeline to get this team to be able to contend?
The urgency is ever present. From the first day I started taking this job till I sit in the chair right now, there's always an urgency to win championships. That's what the Lakers set out to do. That's the expectations of our fans, and we're going to put in the work to constantly try to do it. At the same time, you have to be realistic, and if there's not a championship big on the market right now, I can't wave a wand and create that opportunity. We'll continue to work and look for areas that we can complete and fill out the roster. But as we saw with this trade, it takes two teams. But we'll continue to build. Luka and I spent some time yesterday up in my office just talking about the players on our roster he's played with and kind of what he sees as sort of short-term and long-term needs. And
He's kind of calling out the other teams a little bit.
Continue to have those basketball discussions and get this roster to a championship level.
Luka, Mike mentioned JJ Redick, your former teammate. You've got Maxey and Markieff over there. Dorian Finney-Smith is a player you've spoken very highly about in the past. Greg St. Jean was a coach you've worked with. How is that going to help as you take on this crazy life change, having all these familiar faces be here for that transition?
I think that's a really good thing, to come to a new place, but still know some people. And I think that's mentally, I think that's a really good thing, and they're gonna just help me. The guys that were here, they'll help me learn new stuff about LA, about the team, and it's just helpful to see friendly faces.
Edwin Garcia, Silver Screen and Roll. My question's for Pelinka. Rob, when you're talking about a championship caliber big and aligning with JJ Redick, what do you think the values in that position are required in the modern NBA?
Versatility, mobility, a vertical lob threat. I think that's a key to the spacing that Luka likes to play with.
Nick Claxton.
Competitive. I think, those are some of the core things there. Those players are hard to find, but we'll accomplish the task that's before us. We'll find a way.
Rob, over here. As far as just the future and the moves that you're going to be making, designing the roster, planning, how beneficial and important is it for you just to know you have Luka, you have maybe a decade that you can use as a roadmap in terms of just every decision you're looking to make?
It's a gift. We're talking about a 25-year-old that is top 3 player in the universe. I can't think of a more amazing starting point to build a roster for the next decade. And I know he has the drive to win that we have here. Our fans are going to see that every night on the court. I know up here he might seem calm and casual and quiet, but we know the alter ego comes out, and we'll see it at crypto.com soon, and I can't wait for it.
Thanks, everyone.
Is that it?
And that is it.
Oh, I didn't
Ladies
see this jersey.
and gentlemen. Yeah, we will keep this up for his jersey. Okechi, the mic is good now. You can. I was trying to unmute you a little bit there, but it was. Whew.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, good now. I mean, this is surreal.
It is. Can't see the jersey though.
No, thanks, because everybody's standing up in front of the camera, taking their own pics.
Ladies and gentlemen, what are our thoughts on that? I mean, it is great. Good answers. He seems ready to go. And there was some things about Rob Pelinka as well, which is very. You see JJ coming out. Here it is.
Oh yeah, JJ. I know he's excited because he's just foaming at the mouth with LeBron and Luka. There's so much you can do offensively with these two guys. So much.
Exciting. And again, he spoke about the 77, right? 77?
Mm-hmm. The 77 jersey. I don't think any Laker great has had this high of a number. I'm trying to think who's had which Laker. I mean, I guess Rodman, who played for a few years, was up in these, but he didn't have great Laker years. So,
well, it was
Sabonis.
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe
77. It's a good time. It's a good time to be a Lakers fan. They're playing soon. We have a bunch of moves. Hopefully, are coming though. With Rob Pelinka, he seemed a little bit hesitant about getting a big time center. I guess he's saying that there's no one available on the market, which I guess I'll believe him is correct. We see Maxi Kleber as well coming out.
There was the interesting differentiation that he said like there wasn't like a championship level big because he's like the market was kind of dried up. So I'm like assuming like those guys that are out there, like those mid-tier guys, like those Chris Bouchers, Kelly Olynyk. I wouldn't necessarily call Clint Capella in that, but just like there's a bunch of like those type of guys around who aren't gonna like change your team. They'll help, but they won't like drastically improve your team.
Yeah, and I don't know they have to get a center, and I think they will. I don't think there's a question necessarily about if they're going to get a center. It's a matter of, I guess they were asking for big time splashes, whether that be. I think he specifically said they're not trading for Miles Turner necessarily, or a guy like Walker Kessler because they aren't available. Now, when you talk about people in the chat, obviously you talk about Nick Claxton, you talk about Clint Capella. We need someone. We need someone back there, and that's one of the biggest things. I'm supposed to be excited for a player who I am never been more excited. Maybe I have, but it's very exciting. I mean, and also Rob Pelinka is talking about the next 10 years as if this contract is signed. Luka also said that loyalty is something he values. So you put two and two together, I don't think they're going to let him walk away in free agency.
No, but then also the way the Lakers treat their stars, they treat the stars differently. Like this is the reason why these guys come through here, and there's still Laker legends like Shaq, who didn't start his career here, but like when he came here, the Lakers treated him with open arms. Great. He's got a statue.
Yep.
Like probably one of the coolest statues, I think, hanging outside of crypto. So like there is ways that you can come into the Lakerland and be loved and, be treated well. So I do think Luka is going to get that great star treatment, and that's going to lead him to, staying here because he doesn't seem like a person that wants to like be bouncing around different teams and, just testing out the market and seeing different things. But I think they've got the opportunity to do some things here. And it's interesting because since he got traded, he's not going to be available for the Supermax. So he does come at a lower cost if you were to give him the max deal instead of like what they recently just gave Anthony Davis, because they actually saved some money.
Assuming he resigns, yep.
Yeah, assuming he resigns. They really would save some money.
Yeah, I think 100 million almost. I mean, it was 345 you could have gotten with Dallas, and now I don't know the exact number, but it's less, and it's exciting. And obviously the Lakers, I think Saturday is the day that he's going to play. And Rob also spoke about a timeline a little bit, day to day, which is obviously exciting. The Lakers play tonight. They play against the Clippers. We obviously won't see Luka in tonight's game, but still going to be a pretty exciting game. And then, of course, they play the Warriors on the 6th. And then, of course, Saturday is the big return date. And I can't imagine how excited fans are going to be. I mean, obviously, we're going to be excited, but fans in the whether it's even the home arena, away arena, people get to watch Luka Doncic play in a Lakers uniform. Not only Luka Doncic playing a Lakers uniform, I think just watching Luka play with LeBron is going to be the most one of the most exciting things. I mean, they talked about it in their podcast before JJ came over.
Definitely gonna be the
It's
draw.
crazy.
Those two guys, yeah, playing together, and just one thing to note on me personally, because I'm gonna be at the Laker game tonight against the Clippers, and yeah, Luka's not gonna play, but he's probably gonna be in the building, and I could only imagine the Laker fans who are gonna be in there just chanting Luka's name
Yeah.
throughout the game. So it's that feeling is gonna start to feel more real as we start to get to that, and it was great to hear that Rob saying he's gonna play some 5-on-5, so he is real close to returning.
It's imminent now.
Like the last hurdle for you. So him playing here the next couple of days and with whichever team, because it seems like I think Rob might make another move, but it might be around the margins, as he was saying. So maybe the Daron shop, like we were talking about earlier. So he could be a guy that could be a move around the margins, which kind of just like helps your team currently, but then just down the line in the offseason where you're able to make more trades, and then you can trade the guys who you recently just got in, like Maxi Kleber, who makes 11 million. You can throw that into a deal, say draft day, and try to get another player to really help you out in this current iteration. But Nick, I do want to ask you, who are some of the players, because he was talking about bringing in Luka and then talking about some players that he's played with and he's comfortable. So who do you think are going to be some of these players that kind of stick around? Because I think everyone's pretty much on the chopping block if your name is not LeBron James or Luka Doncic. So
Yeah.
who sticks?
And you can never, I mean, now once Luka was traded, I don't think anyone's safe aside from LeBron, because the report came out obviously that LeBron was safe. I would say they keep around Dorian Finney-Smith, assuming you're talking about current Lakers. I don't know if Austin Reaves is necessarily safe. I was on the side of the fence where they could trade him for an impact big, but it doesn't seem like there's many impact bigs out there available that would give up Austin Reaves. I mean, I think Rui's expendable. I think everybody besides, I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith is also expendable in theory. They're not going to trade him though. They just acquired him, and I think he fits well with Luka. I mean, I think it's LeBron, Luka, Dorian Finney-Smith, and that's about it. I mean, maybe Vando for his defense. This team desperately needs what he brings.
Oh, yes, they really need him.
Like, you're not going to trade him and then get any better defensively. Like, it's not going to happen, especially given his value. So I don't know. Like, I think almost everyone's available besides LeBron, Luka, obviously, and Dorian Finney-Smith, and probably Vando. I mean, your backup center as it stands is either Christian Coloco or Trey Jemison, the G League guy they got. Not good enough. Their starting centers, Jackson Hayes, in tonight's game. He had a good game last time, but I don't think he's a starting caliber center. Shake Milton, Gabe Vincent, I think they're both available, especially Gabe Vincent regarding his salary, obviously making, I believe it's $11 million a year, something like that. So, I think everyone's available, but I hope that they make the right move here and at least do their best to upgrade. And yeah, I think Dorian Finney-Smith is going to fits with Luka perfectly. Realistically, the players that aren't available are the defensive guys that they have.
Yeah.
So Vando, Dorian Finney-Smith. I think everybody else is kind of in play. And again, I wouldn't put it past the Lakers to go ahead and move Austin Reaves if it means they get more deep. And if, maybe I saw some rumors, some reports, Reaves for a couple of elite role players, maybe some picks that you flip into role players, but it's going to be interesting. And he also, when he said, don't rule out trading for an elite, or he said, trading for elite center will be hard, he didn't mention a two guard at all in his press conference. So maybe he's working on something behind the scenes, either about trading for an impact two guard, or they're going to rock Austin Reaves. I'm surprised no one asked about how they plan to, rock the starting lineups here going forward with what they have, but I guess we'll find out in about a week. So.
Yeah, that'll probably be a question for JJ later, his media availability before the Clippers game. So he's gonna have to figure out what's the best situation. And I brought it to you just before we started the press conference. I think it probably makes more sense for Lakers to start small, because I just don't trust Jackson Hayes enough to be a center. Coloco, Trey Jemison, those are fringe NBA players, G League guys at this moment.
Yeah.
So I think starting small might be the move, and where we can see a front court of maybe LeBron, Rui, Finney-Smith, or LeBron, Vando, Finney-Smith. So there's different combinations they can put up, and there's probably going to be a lot more switching. JJ Redick switched a ton, even with Anthony Davis. So with all these similar like-sized players, because now they have bunch of forward-sized players because you got what LeBron, Luka around the same
Rui,
size, Rui, Finney-Smith, Vando.
Dalton Connect a little bit.
Yeah, Dalton could. Yeah, he's like 6'7". Maxi Kleber's not super tall. He's like what 6'10".
Yeah, if he plays, might be out for a
Yeah,
while.
if he. So those are all these guys are around similar size. So there's a bit of a roster imbalance. So like we'll see if they can do this here by Thursday. I don't know if they will. If they don't, I do think they have a great opportunity in the offseason, specifically starting draft day, to really upgrade this team and fit more around Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I
and
think this
what
offseason
they're
is going to
trying to do in
be
the future.
insane. I think it's going to be what we really see. Their bench right now is not ideal. It's not great, and it was never really great. I mean, you have Shake Milton, you have Gabe. I mean, Dalton Connect, Dorian Finney-Smith if he's not starting. If he is starting, I guess you throw Rui in there. But I think that who do they have right now to replace? Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't think they would have anyone necessary to replace Austin Reaves. I mean, people are arguing that Luka is replacing Austin Reaves, which he is at the starting point guard spot. I think they're probably going to keep Austin though, just because. I'll ask you this: do you think they move Austin to the bench? And let us know in the chat as well. Do you think Austin Reaves ultimately, let's say in 2 weeks after Luka's played a few games or whenever it is, do you think that Austin Reaves stays in the starting lineup? Type yes in the chat or no if you don't think so, and I'll ask you as well. Or do you think that they move him to the bench and maybe help the bench be deeper and have him in a 6-man spot and kind of be the point guard of that second unit?
Yeah, this is very because it really depends on what happens in that front court, I think, because I think you can survive with Reaves in that starting lineup, but like if a guy like Vando and Finney-Smith are out there, you can utilize.
1 second, I think I had to mute you. Go ahead. The stream had some audio playing.
It's all good. But I think that it depends on who is going to be starting the front court. Because like if you start guys like Vando and Finney-Smith, you can deploy those guys on a myriad of dudes who like, all right, Vando can guard a point guard, he can guard a small forward, a power forward. Finney-Smith can guard some centers, so some centers. Not the Jokic
Small ones
of the world and stuff like that.
Yep.
So you can do some very different variations. LeBron, I do think this opens him up a bit more to be a bit more defensive. I know he hasn't been a guy that's been looked at as like, oh, this like defensive player, but he still has those skills, even though he is 40. But with Luka Doncic, you can, hey, Luka, run the offense for a bit. Let LeBron, defensive rebound. He's still big and strong. He's still a great rebounder when he wants to. So he can do some things for you defensively. So there is some versatility the Lakers have, but yeah, that big man would be an interesting question. And Reaves, if I had to call it right now, I think he stays in the starting lineup just because of how much he's grown. But it wouldn't be impossible to see a world where he comes off the bench. And that obviously depends on what happens in the front court for the Lakers.
Yeah. If AR comes off the bench, who plays the point guard, who plays the shooting guard? I mean, you have Luka at the one. Shooting guard's the question.
Yeah, it is. I think you just go over index on defense. Like we can start Vando as the quote unquote shooting guard. He wouldn't be in that position.
I agree though.
Per se. So like, because like both LeBron and Luka can operate on the perimeter. You can have Vando, running on the baselines, making cuts. He's a very good cutter, a very good like short roll player. So like if you screen for him, you blitz the screen. The guys like Vando, who can be pretty good because he used to be a point guard in his younger years. He can make these passes. The Lakers have been a better passing team over this season, so they have a lot of guys who can just make the right pass. So guys like Austin Reaves, Jared Vanderbilt, Dorian Finney-Smith is not like an exceptional passer, but he's gonna make the right pass. He's not gonna like turn over the basketball. All of these different guys can sort of, and even Dalton Connect to an extent, because I've seen him run some screen and roll action, and he's been a good scorer, but like his passing reads are there. So it's just a level of maturity and growth. But Nick, a thing that I do want to ask you, because Luka talked about wanting to learn from a guy like LeBron James. So this is sort of like, I think, the last hurdle Luka has, because he kind of has everything. He's got the first team All-NBAs, he's got the All-Stars. He's yet to have that MVP, but like once he gets there, like I think the very possible that he can get there in the next couple of years, especially with LeBron James help. So what do you think LeBron could do for Luka just to get over that hump and become that championship level guy?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we've seen throughout the years in general, LeBron's elevated everyone he plays around. Now, one interesting thing is that I'm going to be curious to see how Luka. I mean, Luka doesn't usually play second fiddle to anybody. We'll see now if he ends up playing I mean, I think Luka's probably going to be. I think LeBron will kind of give it to Luka, but I mean, I mean, LeBron is the best IQ, arguably in basketball history, and I think that'll just elevate specifically Luka off the ball when the ball's not in his hands. Obviously, you have LeBron. He can do his own thing, but I think it'll elevate him off ball the most when LeBron has and all these different things. I'm kind of excited for it though. It's going to be very interesting. I'm most interested to see how Luka and LeBron fit when it comes to. I don't think there's going to be any tension or anything like that, but how it comes. Luka's not used to playing with a guy like LeBron James. He's played with Kyrie Irving, obviously a star in his own right, but LeBron's a bit of a different beast and plays a bit of a different way. So I think they're going to fit really well, but there might be some growing pains there. I don't expect it to be seamless right away. That being said, Luka's one of the best players we've seen. So.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be seamless right away. It might take some time, but these guys are really smart dudes.
Yeah.
And then you also have JJ Redick, who's a sicko in his own right. So this can come together quite quickly in a few weeks just because of how smart these guys can be. If you simplify the offense, it's like, all right, we'll try to use the advantages of these two guys. In years past, LeBron has been playing more off ball because of having D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reaves on the roster. So he's been cutting a lot more. He's been a guy that's been setting screens a lot more. So just imagine a screen and roll action with Luka and LeBron James, and you have that locomotive that is LeBron James coming downhill. But wait, you still got Luka you got to worry about because if he pulls up for three, that's a whole other problem. So, and one more thing about LeBron and Luka, I think LeBron can hold Luka accountable because that was a big thing when AD came over because Anthony Davis said, "Oh, LeBron's gonna hold me accountable, on the offensive end, playing games and stuff like." Because that was the whole thing about Anthony Davis. He doesn't play through pain, but then AD over the past couple of years, he started to play more. He was in better shape. That really helped him get through those injuries. So I do think that LeBron is going to have that same effect on Luka Doncic. Just from not even like saying anything. I don't think LeBron's going to say anything. Oh, you got to do this. But it's like no, LeBron is just going to come into work, do what he does, and then Luka's going to see that and it's like, yo, that's what it takes.
Luka's going to work harder anyways. I think not only because LeBron's there, but it's also the Lakers organization. He also just got traded in his former GM, and there's been leaks all about how his conditioning is, which he addressed. Said it's a big motivation and all these different things. So it's going to be interesting, but that'll wrap up the stream. It was a great one. It was almost an hour long. It was incredible. We're going to be going live a lot more. So everybody in the chat, make sure to stay tuned for that. But Okechi, any final thoughts? It's a surreal day. This is the beginning. Hopefully it's a championship run this season. That's what we all want to see. But at the very least, we get to see Luka for the next few years. Any final thoughts? It was a great one.
Final thoughts really. Not too much. Just one, we got to give credit to Rob Pelinka.
Yeah.
We have been berating him. I know a lot of you guys in the chat have been berating Rob Pelinka for a lot of issues of the past. We know about the Westbrook trade, but he
saved it all.
Yeah, this really makes up for it. Like, we all better start, giving those apology forms for Rob Pelinka because this was a move that puts the Lakers in a better position for the next, like he said, 5 to 10 years, assuming he signs. But I do think the Lakers, they're pretty smart with their stars. So we'll see what they build around the team. But this is a great start because now you're not in limbo when LeBron retires. You're just like, all right, there's Luka Doncic. He's going to be your franchise player.
Yeah, you got 6 years younger from AD I'm talking about, and then building around AD. It also makes Rob Pelinka's job, assuming he sticks around, a lot easier because easier in the sense of future security because you have a superstar now for the next foreseeable.
He's getting an extension after this. Like,
still think it all started with a coffee was the words that he said with Nico Harrison. But thank every one of you who tuned in. We'll be going live more often. Tons of videos coming for you all. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button.